Hello everyone, and welcome again to another edition of Ali Tech Talks. Today we're going to be talking about cloud migration. We got a special guest coming from outside from our headquarters in Guatemala, but from many locations where we are at, and that's Venezuela. We got David Pino who joined us today. David, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Oscar. Here, David Pino. I'm an information systems engineer, cloud expert, and AWS solutions architect certified.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you for letting the public knows about the capabilities that we have, and being one like yours, being an architect from cloud and everything that we do in AWS. We got also specialists on clouds on Azure and Google as well. So we do not only migrations, to the cloud, that we're going to be talking about this, but also intercloud, which is great. So tell us, David, what is cloud migration really? The public think about just shifting, but what exactly is a cloud migration?
I think it's important first to define what is cloud computing. Cloud computing refers to the delivery of different services such as servers, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, and intelligence over the internet with a pay-as-you-go pricing model. So what is cloud migration? Cloud migration refers to the moving of your business data, environment, and applications to the cloud. This could mean two things. Moving the data from a legacy on-premise IT infrastructure to the cloud, or moving away a business environment from one cloud provider to another.
Super. And that's not only moving the infrastructure, because people tend to think that the cloud migration is only virtual machines in the cloud, but it's more than that. It's really also modernizing the applications, meaning that they're going to be cloud native. Is that a fair statement to say?
Yes, that is true. There are two approaches to cloud migration. One is, as you mentioned, is the lift and shift. That refers to rehosting, and that is redeploying your existing data and applications to a cloud server or to a cloud environment. But the main goal to cloud computing is modernizing, and that means transforming the business, the IT infrastructure architecture, and take advantage of cloud providers. That means making adjustments to the better use of all the cloud-based tools and making changes in the architecture. And with making changes, I mean going to a serverless architecture with Fargate and containers or Kubernetes, for instance.
And that will, as we do it here in technology service in Ali Global, that is fine-tuning of those applications. So it's also part of that service provisioning, right? And then the migration is to fine-tune those, but we're going to talk a bit there later on how do we do it and why else. So why is it, from the business perspective, David, that we really need to have a migration? If customers say, we're happy to have everything on premises, why is it that we're going to be moving into the cloud? Everybody does it. We already did it. So
yes, the idea is to take advantage of all the benefits of cloud migration, and that is performance, because as cloud providers have the latest generation of fast and efficient hardware. Also reliability, because in cloud computing services we have databases, backups, disaster recovery, and business continuity tools. Cost reduction, because we only pay for the service that we are using. So we don't have to pay for maybe all the hardwares like the on-premise architecture. We also have scalability because we can expand or reduce the resources as is required for the business, and we have security because we the cloud providers offer the security compliance.
Mm-hmm. So, and then with the scalability, it's very important. That really caught my eye, because when they deploy application on premises, you really have a physical limitation when you have a scalability of your systems. So let's say you might be good enough to have a load balancer from your on-premises infrastructure, where underneath it you will have two servers that work with it and loads the balance. But in case, because you never know, you're starting to get a lot of heat and a lot of hits coming from the internet and try to heat your server because there is really a need. Scaling up or scaling out, it's very difficult to do. Cloud migration, when you do it on the cloud and you lose, it becomes automatically, or you can actually plan for that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. We have for instance, we have in AWS what is defined as overall scalability. And as you mentioned, if according to the market or according as the business needs, we can expand or reduce the resources.
And that is great, because I mean, it's you really not even know when it's going to happen, but you can prepare if you know it's going to happen. So you got both options into it. And besides, from what I heard, and you can correct me here, David, about this, is when you have servers on the cloud, you have your main computer, and this has to be upgraded in some way underneath it, which you can't see, because the reason why you have the cloud is because the providers of the cloud, the public cloud, they have to make upgrades to the system. So automatically give to you a balance, a load balancer there, because you upgrade one machine. So in order to have your SLA, the other machine is already there. So that's kind of nice, but you actually can do more load balancing yourself, scaling up more than those instances. So I like that. What else can you tell us about, maybe the modernizing of the applications? Can we fine tune? Can we talk about serverless, where you just pay for what you consume in terms of compute? How is that working?
Yes, there is also, as you mentioned, the Lambda functions. For instance, as a developer, you don't have to worry about the whole environment or maintaining the servers, only about provisioning the code. That is another advantage of cloud computing, in this case AWS as a provider. And you also have all the containers environment, that there is the case that you could only worry about configuring the task for these containers, but you don't have to worry about where these containers are, or the managing of these containers. So that is a huge
what you said
advantage.
there is it brings me to the other part of what we do in Alec Technology Services, right? Which means the DevOps side of the business. So what I'm picking up is here, we provide all these DevOps, which, by the way, AWS provide their own DevOps environments to deploy things into the cloud. So that means that we can, with those containers, right, you can provide your pipelines, create those pipelines, containerization of this, and deploy Kubernetes in the cloud. In this case, it will be in the Azure and in the Amazon, and then you deploy to them, and then you can manage from there. So it's really versatility, because you don't have the nodes there, and you can scale up or scale out as much as you need as well in the Kubernetes clusters environment. Is that right?
Yes, and taking into account what is computing power and storage, you can go up or down according to the business needs.
Fantastic. So
yeah.
If I come in, from the outside, why is it, and I will answer that myself too, but Why us? Why Allied Global Technology Services? Why is it that the customers would like to come to us and do the migration for them?
Well, because we have the experience and knowledge not only regarding cloud services, but also software configuration management, best practices, as you mentioned, DevOps best practices as well, all what is related to security frameworks, and what is really important, the partnerships with cloud providers leaders such as AWS and Microsoft.
That is correct. And I'm going to tell you, it's the expertise, resources and engineers like yourself, David, who work with us, who got that quality of certifications, that we know exactly the engineer steps to get your precious on-prem infrastructure as customers and leave it in the hands of us to migrate it to the cloud, making sure that we modernize their application, making sure that we fine-tune those applications, fine-tune that hardware, storage, compute to make it the best out of it. And as time goes by, as through our managed services, we also provide feedback in terms of I would say, plans to reduce costs, to increase productivity, and redo things that it has to be done, like in Kubernetes, for example, as you mentioned. So it's a great future ahead, and we're very excited because it's not only the AWS, but we also go to the other clouds and multi-cloud, which just let us know when, and we're gonna be there. So thank you so much, David, for your time today. It was great talking to you. Great to have you on board, and thank for the technology that we have today. We can go all over the world and show our capabilities to the world. Thank you so much for everyone to listen to today's Ali Tech Talks. We are Ali Global. We are technology services. Thank you for watching.